It's Memorial Day. It's Bad Takeout Day. So that means the microphone is on. Welcome to Bad Takeout. I am Jeremy Tomberg. My humming partner is Kevin Crowley.
Wow. You gotta start low with that song.
And then build up.
Yeah, because it's a really rangy song. Like if you're gonna sing it, because I've never sang the national anthem in public. But
Did you hear the woman?
Yeah, she was bad.
Where was it? It was at a baseball game.
Probably.
And
I think she was like 14.
No, she wasn't. This is a woman.
Oh, really?
I think it was an adult.
Okay.
And she screwed it up like in the middle of it.
She forgot the words, right?
And she stopped like for the rampart.
Oh boy.
And then it was like dead silent, and then she started over again, and then finally the audience started to help her.
Yeah, it's a tough song. I mean, I'm not a singer. I don't think you're a singer, but I think you're a cantor, right? So you can sing.
Not all Jews are cantors.
Okay.
I mean, do we know the words, right? Let's start it off.
Oh, say,
can you see by the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, who's brought stripes and bright stars through the perilous night. Fight and night. Yeah, we won't argue about that.
Oh, shit.
Through the perilous fight, what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, who's brought stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. What? I don't know. I was going to say the same
Over ramparts we fight or something, right?
It's a really hard song. We just proved how hard the song proved.
We're untrained, and obviously, you were in good shape there for a little bit, but most amateurs like Joe Louis, was it Joe Louis, the Olympian track star? He has one of the worst performances ever. Like, he sings during the NBA Finals, and everybody's like cracking up. Like Magic Johnson's on the sidelines, like, oh my god.
Roseanne was pretty bad, right?
It was Carl Weathers or something. No, Carl
Weathers is is Apollo Creed.
Okay, so it wasn't him. That's a process elimination. Anywho, he had a bad one too.
Roseanne, right? She was horrible at the New York game when she like screamed it.
Yep.
That was a really bad moment. I think she almost got booed off.
I think she did. And she like scratched her like pussy fat and like spit.
Really? She scratched her muff?
Yeah, she did. She like dug in there and spit.
Like in the pants or
I
like on the
remember.
outside?
It was like 91, 92, and it was like, whoa, like, there's kids watching this game, and she's spit in and disrespectful.
That's crazy.
Yeah, well, it's Memorial Day, yeah?
It is Memorial Day.
Okay. Labor Day, Veterans Day, Memorial Day, they all kind of sometimes can get a little confusing.
Yeah, today was Memorial Day where we celebrate
all the veterans,
Well, that would be Veterans Day.
Yeah, I guess so. See?
No, Memorial Day is celebrating D-Day, isn't it?
Oh, Jesus. See? Now, here's the real question. It's just Monday off.
Memorial Day is, I think...
But everybody loves the troops. Like, I think it's just, like, it's in, like, recognition for everybody in the armed services.
I don't know should we ask Siri? Let's see if Siri can tell us what Memorial Day is. Let's use Siri as, like, a thing. What is Memorial Day?
Bitch.
Memorial Day is today.
I see.
You smug cock-sucking bitch. I know what that means. Forget it.
Yeah, see, because we should know.
We should know.
We shouldn't have to rely on Siri.
Technology to tell us. It's not really good that we don't know Memorial Days. I think it's to celebrate...
No, it's all the veterans. Or everyone in the armed services, whether... But if is it like a significant day? Is it like D-Day or was it like VE Day?
Those who died in active military service remembered. So we were all right. Everything. Yeah. No, but there was the 4th of...
4th of July is Independence Day.
Independence Day.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
All right.
Well, I'm only trying to be funny. We're not this stupid. We're only doing this for your comedic...
I think we got to improve our little
idiots.
bit of stupidity there.
Oh, God.
Hey, but now it's on wax, and everybody will know, so...
What are you going to do?
See that? So next time you try to be all high and mighty, remember be like, oh, yeah, I don't actually know.
I actually can't do the Star-Spangled Banner.
Well, we did our duty today.
We played baseball.
America's pastime.
We, every year on this day... A group of friends that live in LA all get to a baseball field in Glendale, which doesn't mean anything to anyone that doesn't live in California, and we play baseball. It was a fun day.
It was.
No funny errors, no stupid things. Usually we get some stupid things that happen.
Yeah, I ran into a fence really. Like,
1 year.
I think it was my first year. I was really eager, and I wanted to make the play.
And you're in right field smoking a cigarette. Yeah. Set the tone of the story first.
Yeah, bottom of the ninth. Runners on the corners.
And he's got a cigarette in his mouth, smoking a butt in right field. The ball is hit over, which is going to go over the fence. But
It was a home run by about 20 feet.
But Kevin is going to make sure he does everything to catch this ball and try to steal the home run.
And it's a
from
little
someone.
league field, so the fences kind of sneak up on you. You
Right.
know? It's like, you know.
So at full steam, you are trucking at this fence, and you then don't know the fence is there, and you pile
Crash.
right in the
Full
fence.
speed.
You fly over the fence, legs go in the air, you fall back onto the ground, cigarette never leaves
It's
your
another
mouth.
one of those instances, or it should have been so much worse. See?
Like, it was one of those things where you could have just...
My knee hurt a little bit. Like the next day, it was a little sore. But in all, like, and if there was, you know, laws of karma and stuff, for being that stupid, I really should have hurt myself. But thankfully, I didn't.
You have someone looking over your shoulders. You never seem to get injured when you do these stupid
So,
things.
yeah. But yeah, it wasn't the best day for me. I was, I think I had 6 at bats in 9 innings, and I struck out my first 5 at bats, and then finally I got a solid.
You did
single.
fine. The last time up, you had 2 solid hits because they robbed you of your first hit. Just
Striking
because,
out is probably the most like.
yeah, you did strike out 5 times.
It's a pretty shameful.
And we're not really throwing the ball.
no,
We're kind of just lobbing the ball over the plate.
5 times. Like 2 or 3 times is like holy shit, but 5 times, you know, it's reiterated me in adulthood. That
I did pretty good. I got on base twice. I struck out once. I struck the ball, crushed it to the outfield, got flied out twice, and that was my at bats.
Yeah.
Had a strong day in the field. I played first base, but I had some really good plays. We had some good turnarounds.
Did you play Little League or did you do like
Yeah, I played Little League. I was
Jewish Little League or Little League?
no. I mean, there was mostly Jews. There was a handful of the blacks.
Oh wow,
You know,
ringers.
Yeah, we had ringers. There was a few blacks on each team, or in the league. But no, it was called the BGRA, the Buffalo Grove
Recreational
Association or something. Yeah, it was. Let's call it that.
Yeah.
But it was the BGRA, and I played from probably T-ball all the way to high school. I played.
Okay.
I didn't try out in high school. I did try out. I tried out in high school. I made first cut, and then I quit because I wasn't going to go up against these. We had players in our high school that didn't have to try out.
Okay.
They just made the A team without even trying out.
I had a pretty lackluster athletic career my whole entire childhood.
You never you played, but you weren't really good.
No, I was okay in football, like towards the beginning of high school, but I couldn't catch in baseball. I could hit a little bit because I was kind of a fat kid, so I could get a little tummy into the ball and get a couple good rips.
Right.
But I could never catch. I turned away from it and crunch my back
I always liked baseball. I wasn't not
I love baseball.
I wasn't anything special, but I could hold my own on a field.
And I totally rode the bench in CYO basketball,
What's CYO basketball?
Catholic Youth Organization.
Okay, so while you're making fun of me for playing baseball,
I went to Catholic school.
You clearly were playing in a Goyim baseball league.
No, I don't think we had any Jews.
They wouldn't let go. I would imagine there's no Jews in CYU.
Did you know any Jews that went to Catholic school?
No.
Really, there wasn't that one that you were like, oh, this guy has trouble.
No.
Okay.
Why would a Jew go to a Catholic school?
Excuse me. I don't know why. The teachers?
What you're saying makes no sense,
I had
Kevin.
a Jewish 8th grade science teacher. And
At the Christian school?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's because Jews can teach at a Christian school, but they didn't teach religion, right?
we had a Passover. And I guess it was cleared from the Monsignor down. But
what did she teach? You said science. I'm sorry, you said science.
And I cheated on a lot of those tests. I
Just to stick it to the Jews, or
No, I was just I was thinking about the other day of how shitty I was in science, how off I was, just completely all the cores of the earth, the mantle, and the magma, and all that science shit in 7th and 8th grade, man. I got pathetic 45s on tests.
I didn't fail things or get D's, but I mean I wasn't no honors student.
I remember making a pretty shitty diorama of the larva and the pupa and I forgot the last stages and the butterfly, but it was a pretty crappy 3-way poster board, and I think my mom did most of it.
My mom did most of it.
Yeah, she took a lot of slack.
My mom never did my projects for me, but I do remember a handful of times. We were in the dawn age of the computers, with the Apple II GS.
Word processors.
Right. And I had typed up a whole paper, and like I would lose the whole thing. Like you would just lose it all. All the work you did was lost. So she once in a while typed up a paper because she was really good at typing.
Yeah.
You know? So she could type up a paper for me real quick.
My pops brought in a couple of papers for us, like throughout the years, and had his secretary bang it out in like 20 minutes.
I think that might have happened to us
Yeah.
too.
Hey.
God, spoiled rich kids.
Kitty. Well, it wasn't even that. You know, she probably just lollygagging around there. She could type up, you know, fucking
Yeah. What is she
my
have to
Harry
do?
Truman report.
While she's working for Mr. Crowley, what else does she have to do besides Mr. Crowley's kids' work?
Yeah, hey. But she was like, you know, she was there for a long time, you know.
Oh, is this
He was doing her a favor.
Is this one of Kevin's
Yeah, she was like,
papers?
hello, Westland. Like, I think she just racked butts and, like, you know.
Back in the day when you can like smoke in the office.
Oh, yeah.
She was probably smoking and
I
typing
remember
up your
going to my
little
dad's
paper.
office a couple times when I was a kid, and it was like a mess. And there was like dirty pictures hanging up.
do you mean
like,
dirty pictures?
Not dirty, but like I remember there was like a some kind of like a Playboy cartoon that he must have thought was funny from like 1970 that was hanging up there. And there was like a Clint Eastwood "Make My Day" like picture, and I'm like, what the hell is my dad doing in here?
See, my dad was a lawyer, so I always remember the office looked really nice and neat. There was papers always everywhere on the desk everywhere, but he always had like a nice like, what are those big giant like
Gold.
gold?
He had a throne.
Because he's a Jew? No.
I say anything about the Jews.
No, because he had like a bookshelf that goes from ceiling to floor, wall to wall.
Okay, a bookshelf.
But it was huge.
Okay.
And he always had like tons of like law books on there. It was always cool.
So no porn.
Not that I remember.
Yeah.
I mean, if there was porn, I think he hid it from,
No.
you know.
No, he's a nice dude. I met your father a couple times. He's a good guy, Carl, if I remember correctly.
Carl is his name, yes.
Yes, he's he visited a few times. I think
Yeah, he has visited.
went to hung out a bit. But my brother
Yes,
was visiting.
That has happened.
Yeah, he's nice.
Oh, you just wanted to segue.
It's a seg.
Wow, that's a really shitty
Why you gotta
segue.
blow it up? So, it is as bad as it's gonna be.
Wow, I've met your dad. If you so my brother, you could just say, "Hey, I wanted, my brother was in town. I wanted,
Well, he wasn't. This is a story I completely made up just for this, and you blew my fake segue, so now it's all ruined.
All right, so your brother was in town. Thank
Yes.
you. Go ahead.
And
Sorry
we're out in
to-
the desert driving, and we saw these UFOs, and I think something happened to us, but no. Anyway, he visited LA this weekend with his wife and his baby. So, hi guys, if you listen, had a good time this weekend.
What'd you guys do?
I had to entertain, like
Right. You were saying I was a little nervous because when you told me about it, you were like, "Well, they're gonna come and visit for a couple days, and they're gonna stay in my apartment."
Yeah.
And I was like, "This is gonna get."
It's not like Jeffrey Dahmer's apartment. I mean,
No, it's not that. I think your apartment's. I'm just saying the
there are no
dynamic.
Filipino boys running up my front door.
No, but your brother, his wife,
And a
their
baby.
brand new and their 9-month-old baby
brand
in your
spanking new baby.
1-bedroom
It's just out of the
North
box.
Hollywood apartment.
Yeah, but I had a good time.
So how'd that go?
I think it went well. I mean, we were busy the whole time. We went to like Santa Monica and did all the touristy things. Went to the Getty Museum, which is
Ooh.
very cool.
Sure, that 9-month-old really appreciated that art.
Yeah, he was like, oh, he's like, I disagree. I think the Pissarro speaks more about the language of the people. No, he didn't. But that's the whole thing. When you have a 9-month-old baby, it's like everything kind of it has to be like done
Geared
for him.
towards like where can you take him? What can you do with
Yeah,
him?
but he loved it. He
Oh yeah,
soaked it all
like you
in.
said, he really loved that art.
It's really nice grounds there, a lot of grass, so they just kind of put him on the ground. He tumbled all over the place. That's like Xbox for a 9-month-old. just let him roll in the grass for a little bit and like sit. But yeah, we did that, and then we went to Disneyland yesterday.
You went to
actually.
Disneyland.
My first time, broke my cherry.
Oh God.
Broke my Disneyland cherry.
With your family. What did you think of you've been to Disney World, or this was your first Disney experience of all time?
I went. I think twice when I was a kid. Once when I was like 7 or 8 in Florida, and then once again when I was like maybe like 11 or 12.
Okay, so it's been a good amount of years since you've been
yeah.
a good 20 years since you've been there.
Yes.
And what did you think of Disneyland 2013?
It's cool. You know, like, I guess it's geared more. Like, it was Memorial Day weekend, so the place was a fucking zoo. Like, it was packed. There was a wait for every line. Just babies, like, like throwing up and crying, and like fat, sweaty people riding around those little motorcycle things, those little.
People just gnawing on big giant chicken turkey
Yeah.
legs.
I mean, look, it's the happiest place on earth.
Right.
And there was like a 2 or 3 minute break where I was like, oh wow, this place really is cool. And then like, then I'm walking. It's like walking in like the biggest Target in the world, an outdoor Target, because people were just like sitting like just wow, like the fucking monorail, and oh, it's Jack Sparrow, and they're just kind of like sitting there, and you're trying to pass through. Like, I'm not good in crowds, I guess.
Right, you're not you're not agoraphobic, but you're not good with like big groups of people.
Like, it was cool because I got to spend it with my family, who my brother and his wife, who I love, they're my family, and it's always good to hang out with them. But like, if it was a casino or a golf course, I probably would have a little more fun.
Right. So would you go back to Disney if it's not a busy day, like a group of friends?
I think so.
You would go back.
Absolutely. It's a fun time.
I love Disney.
Yeah.
Every time my parents come, we usually go to Disneyland for a day. Like, I enjoy it.
It's cool.
It's fun to walk around.
I was in, what's like the little kid one with the teacups and...
Fantasyland?
That's Fantasyland. So we did that, and, we went on the rides with the baby who's, like, not going to remember. I'm going to tell him in, like, 18 years. Like, oh, no, you went to,
we all went to Disneyland.
When you're 18, when you were 9 months old. And he'd be like, no, like, you're lying to me. Like, no, I didn't. He'd be all, like, smug and, like, an 18-year-old little punk.
And you'd show him the pictures of you and him on the Dumbo ride together.
Yeah, we did. It's a Small World after all. I guess you kind of have to.
Really racist ride,
He was into it.
It's a real racist ride.
A little bit, yeah.
Like, the Chinese people have, like, real just slants in their eyes.
Yeah, exactly. And they're, like
the
doing
Jews
cartwheels.
are throwing money around.
The Irish is actually a leprechaun.
Every black guy has an afro.
Mm-hmm. The Indians, there's like screaming in the background of like the temple.
They are chasing. There's a scene where the Indians are like chasing like a little girl around like a teepee.
No, it's like the real Itchy and Scratchy land. It's like you see like these people, you see cartoon characters like furries walking around, and the kids go ape. Yeah, it's a small world after it. And you know what kind of ruined it for me?
That song like really kills you by the end.
And they loop it about 30 times probably. But we're in line for It's a Small World after all. And there's 2 lines, and it's like a 5-minute line. But we got in the wrong one because...
How can you get in the wrong fucking line?
Because with It's a Small World after all, if you remember, it has just like oncoming boats in each direction.
Right.
Like 2 different lanes. So they load them in from each side.
Right.
But for some reason, our lane wasn't moving. And we're just about to get on. And this family... This kind of like younger looking guy in one of like the motorized scooters, I guess who's disabled. He rolls down with a big ass smile.
You guess he was disabled?
Hey, but like really, I just saw a lot of really fat people on those things. Like,
did the guy get off his scooter?
Yes,
and
he did.
Was he fine?
Yeah,
no problem. He was able to walk.
Well, we got in before him, but look, like I don't want to question anything, but he rolled up deep. He had about his cousins, his sons, his mom,
all walking.
Yeah, they're all walking behind him.
Because he's rolling.
And he's rolling like fucking, the guy from Raising Arizona on the Harley. He's just ran up there all confident, smile on his face. And, they cut the whole entire line. But, let's just say...
The whole family, like the whole boat of people.
I'm not bullshitting you. There were 15 people that rolled up with this guy.
All because of one crip?
Yeah. And I don't even think he was that crippled. I think they're just kind of fat. And they're like, I don't feel like walking around. So
you're saying now if you're saying it's like this is like a soldier and he's really wounded, then
yes.
By all means let this guy go.
If he was like tremoring, or if he was like, you could tell if someone has some neurological shit. This guy was
like then you're off it. If he's like a military guy or whatever reason.
He wouldn't be wearing his uniform, I don't think.
No, but you're saying if there's a guy who seems like legit or a kid, you're
yes.
saying this seemed like just a fat guy
who's taking advantage of the system.
See, I don't agree with that one bit.
What, me?
No, I don't agree with the guy cheating the system. I think that's wrong.
And for all I know, he wasn't. But look, that handicap lane, that's like gold right there. You just ride up like Matterhorn, like 60-minute wait. Okay, like
here comes Fatty. Here comes Fatty.
Yeah. I can ride the Matterhorn, right? I have fibromyalgia, like with their little dog. But but it was fun. Like Disneyland is the happiest.
So we
place
just want to make sure that you're saying clearly.
I think
if you have a real reason to use a wheelchair, that you're in a situation like that, then you should be able to cut the line.
Yeah,
but
see, but it's the happiest place on earth. Like, who am I?
Right.
To step on your happiness.
I agree. I think they should cut the line. I think that why should you have to wait in line if you're like stuck in a situation where like waiting in lines, kind of going up and down through the lines would be difficult in your wheelchair. That's understandable. But if you're a fatty on a scooter,
but shouldn't the family wait in line and the guy should just hang out down?
No, because waiting in line is kind of fun. Why should he have to sit by himself for 25, 30 minutes while his family walks around line?
But I'm telling you, he wasn't disabled. He was just fat, and he didn't want to walk.
See, that's not right. He should have to. Fatty shouldn't get a pass at Disney.
And we're going into It's a Small World after all, which is like the most like, oh, we're all the same, and like, oh, like
There's no fatty section though.
No, there aren't.
There's not like a It's a Small World after all singing for the fatties.
Well, it's not a. I mean, the fatties don't have a place in this world. well, yeah, like,
It's not nice.
I don't think like morbidly obese should be, like recognized as like a club. Who wants to be, in the morbidly
Like you don't
obese
deserve
club?
special treatment at Disney. Is all you're saying.
If you're fat.
Yeah. Just be honest. I'm not saying I disagree.
Yeah, I guess you should.
Why? I don't know why. I don't think fat should be on the disabled
No,
list. I don't.
Obesity is not a fucking disease.
Because you ate too many cheeseburgers, you can't stand in line for 45 minutes?
Yeah.
Fuck that.
That's but you can come and you can ride the Matterhorn with your turkey wings fucking flowing in the wind.
And your giant Coca-Cola you just got, and your pickle and everything else you're eating.
Did you see that turkey wing? I've never actually seen one. Like that's crazy. It's like a fucking cartoon.
I've
turkey
always
wing.
wanted one, and I've never tried it because when I was fat at Disney, I was like, really? You're going to be the fat guy walking around with a giant turkey leg? And now that I'm healthy, it is like hopped up with all kinds of salt and stuff to make it, ugh. It looks disgusting now. But, I mean, it's a big turkey leg.
Oh, excuse me.
Jesus, Kevin.
I'm sorry. Ugh, I got steamed vegetables in me.
That's disgusting.
It's not a good combination with Guinness. It's
What?
our first sponsor. Guinness.
It's not our first sponsor. Our first sponsor was your porn company.
Yeah, they backed out.
Which one was that?
They pulled out.
Hi-oh!
Oh boy.
So what? I see you going through your notes. What's in your notes? What else were you going to bring up tonight in the bad takeout?
I don't know. Like I don't know. We played baseball today. We did our thing.
No, don't do the review. Don't do the review. If you do the review, we end the show.
Well, let's see. Okay, let's see. Any news? Is there any
Beep,
news?
beep, 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 beep. Any news going on?
Well, did you hear about the British the London terrorist attack?
No, I did not.
There was this Marine, or not a Marine, obviously. He was a drummer, which in the UK Army or military, it's like the equivalent of like an member of the army.
Right.
And he did tours in 3 places, including Afghanistan, and he comes back to London to take a job as almost like a tourism safety guy. So a really cake job, very easy. After being in Afghanistan. So he's walking down the street, and this car drives him over, and these 2 guys come out and start stabbing him and attacking. And this is at 2:30 in the afternoon, in front of 100 people or so, and he's getting stabbed and hacked with a machete.
Yeah.
By these 2 guys, and the guys just stay at the scene of the crime, and there's while this guy's dying, in the street, and there's people coming around, and they're terrorists from. I don't want to say the wrong country, but they're Muslim extremists from I think.
And they waited to get caught?
Yeah, they came and then they had a gun and they had knives and swords.
They killed this random guy.
Yeah, and they said.
And they waited to get caught.
And they're being interviewed by people because everyone has a phone on, or everyone has a camera on them now with phones.
Right.
And they're saying we killed this guy because he's killing Muslims in this ongoing war. So it was a terrorist attack.
Crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Jesus. When did that happen?
It happened, I think, maybe Monday or Tuesday this week. But it's the same guys.
I've been working so much on this really god-awful TV show that I just don't even have time. I literally leave in the morning and come at night, and there's no time for in-betweens.
But it's gratifying, right?
I mean, I'm not going to discuss what I'm doing at the time.
I'm kidding.
But no, it's not.
Okay.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's a job.
It's a job. And I'm happy to have a job.
God
I'm
bless
happy
you.
to go to work. I'm fine with all that.
Your taxes pay by unemployment, so I appreciate
I'm
that.
happy I'm going to work so you can be unemployed. It's really good, very good for you.
So that, and apparently, who's this crazy broad now? She's this Hollywood girl.
Which one are we talking about? The Disney one?
Yeah.
Amanda Bynes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
She was on CNN.
She was, when she was 17, 18, 19, 20, was unbelievably attractive.
Mm-hmm. And she's one of these Nickelodeon chicks, right?
I think Disney or Nickelodeon.
Okay.
And now she's 26 or 27, 28 maybe. I don't think any older than that. living in New York, and apparently is just off the rails on drugs. She threw a bong out of a 36-story window.
I read that.
A bong.
36 floors?
36 floors. She was smoking doobies or smoking bongs in her hallway of her apartment.
Grass.
Weed.
Okay.
Marijuana.
Continue.
Continue. In her hallway of her apartment complex, or condo, or whatever she lives, they called the police. The police come, and to avoid getting caught with a bong, she threw it out of a 36-story window.
Wow, what a good egg.
Yeah.
That's a crazy bitch.
And if you look at her now, she looks nothing like she looked when she was 18.
Yeah, she had like this stupid wig on and everything.
No, that's her hair.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
I think she's like really fucked up.
Oh man. It's crazy, man. I like they got all this money and like this fame.
I think that's what it is. I think that's the problem.
It just goes to the head.
It's just when you're like 17, 16, that young age, and
Yeah.
like you're just walked on water, like pampered the way they are. Everything is just handed them. Their meals, everything they need in life is just like right at the tip of their fingers. They just point and they
Yeah.
get it. By the time you're an adult and you have to, maybe some of that money's gone and you have to work for it and keep it going, you're probably just burnt out and just like.
Yeah, because a buddy of mine who is a psychologist, he's like every man has like a midlife crisis. It could happen anytime between you're like 21 and like 45, but like the earlier it happens, the better, because everybody goes through it, whether it's like the death of a parent or something like that, like something flips, you lose your job and like everything goes haywire. So, like, the earlier you have that, it might be beneficial, but the circumstances of, like, a millionaire fucking teenager who's, like, adored by everybody and they're hounded by, like, paparazzi and shit. Yeah, I mean, that's gotta do some,
Mental
damage.
Yeah, of course. That's why more times than not these people end up
Michael Jackson.
become wackadoos.
If
Or
Michael Jackson was a plumber, like, granted...
from like if he grew up in Indiana, right? Didn't he grow up in like Homewood, Indiana, or some shit like
Gary,
Indiana.
My home sweet home.
It's not. But if he had grown up in Gary, Indiana, and his dad was not
Like, a whip cracking...
Jehovah's Witness,
Yes.
and force him to do music,
Dancing.
and he was a
They were
plumber.
good, man. Jackson
he probably
Five
would have
were
been a normal kid.
Sure.
If he wasn't writing love songs to a rat named Ben, he might have grown up a little better.
Yeah, I maybe, but we wouldn't have Billie Jean. We wouldn't have. Oh God,
Jesus,
the way you
tonight.
make me feel.
It's that Guinness you're drinking.
Oh, again, it's the way you make me feel. Gives me a cramp right now. So it's good.
You're getting old, my friend.
I am, dude. I
I
realized.
realized today. I was gonna say today was the day I realized it's our 10th anniversary doing this baseball game on Memorial Day. We usually play 2 games. After the first game, more than half of us were like,
Fuck that noise.
I think we are playing only 1 game this year. Let's just eat our burgers
I
and
have
go
to
home."
wear knee braces like when I exercise and stuff, and I went 1 for 6. I got a base hit, but I went 0 for 5. So if anything, my sports ability has declined since being terrible when I was 10 years old.
I like to think that I still have it in me to play. Like I played the full 9 innings.
And I'm more athletic now than when I was
Right,
a
I'm
kid.
in better shape than I was when I was growing
eat
up.
a lot better. I exercise.
But it's really true when you get old. Like you hit 30s.
Your knee just hurts because it does.
My back was hurting for no reason. No reason. I got for batting practice. I swung the bat like 5 times for batting practice, and my elbow started to hurt. No reason.
It's like, oh, why does my elbow hurt?
Yeah, I didn't do anything. All I did was swing a bat.
30.
I'm 32. I'm old.
How about like 45?
Are we still gonna be doing? I don't know if I can handle. I hope I can still play baseball at 45.
Well, yeah, I think you have the option to. You're pretty somewhat healthy. You know,
gonna try to
You don't
stay healthy.
smoke, so I mean that's a perk. That shit creeps up on you.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna read my book and I'm gonna quit smoking. Alan Carr, Easy Way. It's my second.
Yeah, but you
sponsor.
smoked like 5 cigarettes say at the baseball field.
No. I have 1.5
Okay.
because I was the only smoker. Again, we're gonna go ahead in this fucking conundrum of smoking. But yeah, I was the only person at that entire.
What is this
park.
book telling you? This new adventure of yours.
I believe, from what I've read already, which is about 3 pages, is you can't be afraid of quitting smoking. Like any ideas you have.
Are you afraid of quitting smoking?
Yeah,
Why?
I don't know.
Well, what are you afraid of?
'Cause I'm a coward.
But what are you afraid of?
I don't know. Like just my memory. I don't know. nothing interesting.
You're not making any sense.
You're right.
Why can't you just stop smoking?
Because I'm a mock ass punk ass bitch.
You a bag of flavored bitch.
I'm a bag of flavor bitch. No, look, it's something that will happen eventually, or else it's gonna be bad news.
Yeah, or it's lights out.
Bad news for the kid.
Yeah, it's lights out. Do you want to be 45 hacking up like like laughing and talking like a smoker?
Not especially. From what I've seen, smoking doesn't end well. Like casinos, if you go to like one of the shittier casinos on the strip, and you see, you go around like the 50-cent slots, quarter slots, and you see just people just with this string attached to a machine, and they're just chain smoking butts, coughing, and it's not a pretty.
And
sight.
not even enjoying themselves.
No, there's
there's no enjoyment. They just enjoy that cigarette. That's all they have to enjoy.
Yeah.
You better stop now.
There's several million in those.
You better read a few more books or pay a few more hypnotists or buy a few more blues. Oh, are you still smoking your blue cigarette?
No, I misplaced it. So, but it'll turn up. I think my buddy's got it.
So how much was that?
$50.
Now that's thrown down the tube. I really wish we could add up all this. If we could add up all the cigarettes plus all the things you're doing to stop smoking cigarettes, I could be a rich motherfucker.
You're just throwing money at, or I'm just throwing money at a problem that I think that I don't really want to solve.
Why don't you want to solve it? You enjoy it too much.
I do, but I see so many people who have quit, and they're like, dude, it's like fucking not that hard. It's and being like ostracized as a smoker. Not that it's a thing, but it is a little. Look, non-smokers out there, don't be so fucking judgmental against smokers. Don't look me down like I'm fucking killing you quietly.
Right. Back in the day, it was like a thing
Everybody
of respect. It used to be a
smoked.
thing of respect, and oh, look at that guy, he's so cool. But now,
Sinatra made people smoke
because you were like, I want to be Sinatra.
Yeah, and they're all dead now, but from lung cancer. But
now in California, you walk around with a cigarette, everyone's like,
oh, you must be homeless, or like, oh, you also do.
You're killing my baby.
Yeah, where's your meth pipe?
You only see a lot of cigarette smoking on set still.
Oh yeah, ripping butts.
Oh yeah, all the grips. There's a guy on the show I'm working on now. I'm sure he's got to be between like 60 and 70 years old, and all he does is drive the forklift. Because he's a union guy,
yeah.
He sits in this forklift all day smoking butts. That's all he does. I see him 16 times a day, and every time I've seen him, he's smoking a cigarette.
Yeah, I think more than just his knees hurt by now.
Yeah, everything hurts.
Oh God,
everything hurts.
That's such a scary thought.
That could be you, 70 years old, sitting in a forklift smoking cigarettes.
Just every organ doesn't really feel right. I have a little cramp right now. I think it's just from sitting and drinking Guinness. But it's a little discomfort. But if you do something long enough, if you drink yourself to death and all your organs are just like fuck it, I'm out. All your organs basically.
You don't want to be that guy, Kev.
I don't.
You want to be don't you want to be 95 and go out
Yeah.
Just go out old, and just be happy. I don't want to be delusional. I'd like to go before I lose my head, but I'd like to grow into old age.
If I could play golf in my 80s, okay.
That's it.
I can get hit by a truck and it would be okay because I still had it. But
well, if you don't stop smoking cigarettes,
you're right.
And eating, what was this? What did you eat this week that was really bad? You had something bad this week.
Let me see.
Even though you're doing insanity,
yeah, I am.
Even though you're in how many weeks of insanity now? 2 weeks into insanity.
This is 3.
3 weeks into insanity. What did you eat this week? That was really bad.
Some chips and salsa.
Okay, it's not bad.
Some ice cream.
What kind of ice cream?
Peanut butter cup.
Oh yeah, that's killing.
That's not good.
That's
and
I'm sure that's not in the insanity diet. Wait, so is pizza?
3 slices of pizza.
Wow.
A greasy pizza too.
Is that on the insanity diet?
Many beers. The fuck no. You're supposed to have I think 1,600 calories or something, and I had that just.
You did that in just ice cream.
Just in alcohol.
You did that in just ice cream.
Yeah. Whatever. Hey, what the fuck? I don't want to be one of these Jack LaLanne guys. All happy and actually, why not? Should I? I don't think I have that in me. I don't have the big
Well, you do. At least you're trying the insanity. The problem is you have the insanity on the left side, and on the right side you got cigarettes, pizza, ice cream,
beer, crack.
So like, but thank God you're doing the insanity, because if you weren't doing the insanity, you might like be like just a giant tub
I
of
come
shit.
from the school of sometimes you gotta just treat yourself.
You always say treat yourself, but if you treat yourself all the time, it's not a treat.
I know, yeah, but I can do some damage, man. Like I at like 11:30 midnight, if I had wheat thins, which I don't, like that's when I like munch. Like that's when I just like sit there and just tear through.
I think we've talked about this before.
Of something.
My favorite time to eat is between the hours of like 8 o'clock at night after dinner, and when I go to bed at like 1 in the morning.
Yeah,
that's the best time to eat.
But no, it's the worst time.
But that's the best time to eat.
I think it's just the.
Like, we just had some delicious Thai food for dinner.
Yeah, some steamed vegetables.
But
and
if I
steamed
could go
dumplings.
downstairs right now and eat a giant bowl of ice cream covered in caramel, marshmallows, and chocolate, I would do that right now.
Would you get the trots?
What are the trots? We've been through this before.
The trots.
The runs.
The runs. All right. Are we gotta look a little bit of time, right?
Yeah.
All right. So my brother reminded me of this story.
Uh-oh.
It was really funny. So we went to Italy, right? My father, rest in peace, Dad.
Do you know how many times you've started? This is now our 14th podcast, and that means we've done it for 14 weeks. Do you know how many times you've started a story? I'm going to tell this story, and you start off by saying, so, this is about my dad. God rest in peace.
Yeah. But anyway, and he was he was on like the last couple legs there, and when
Okay.
we went to Italy as a family.
Okay.
And I think I was 18, my brother John was like 22, 23, and we're like 2 years apart, so do the math. And
I thought John was the oldest.
it was 2000, so whatever many years ago that was.
You missed a brother, Brian.
Yeah, Brian, we're 2 years apart.
Okay,
Three
you
of
said
us.
John, but go ahead.
So anyway, we go to Italy, and it's supposed to be this really nice, like, oh, it's Tuscany, and it's Italy. We'll see the Pope. We'll get a blessing from the Pope. And on paper, it was a really, like, good idea.
Great idea.
Yeah. But, we were old enough, and we were like, my brother and I were, like, we kind of tore off and, like, went to all these pubs and stuff like that. And while, like, my father and my brother and my mom were getting in fights with, like, taxi cab drivers and all that. But we're staying at this hotel in Rome, and there was a bidet in the room. and I had never used a bidet before. I didn't really know what it was.
18-year-old Kevin, bidet.
Yeah, in Italy, in Rome, the most beautiful, most romantic city in the world. So I used this bidet just like it's like a goof, and like steaming hot water shot into my asshole, and really wrecked my time for like 2 days. I think I got like a burn on my asshole. And
What made you think of this story?
because my brother reminded me of it while we were hanging out. And so, like, we have places to walk in the Coliseum and, like,
And you are just like melting.
and I can't walk. And, like, my parents, my dad was like, what's the matter with you? I'm like, I don't know. Like, my asshole hurts. Like, and I didn't want to admit that I burned my ass on a bidet. Like
You didn't
steaming
test
water.
the water before?
No, I just sat over it, cut my balls, and shot steaming hot water, like 150 degrees.
Oh my god! And it like probably clinched up, so it like went in there.
Yeah, exactly.
So you like burned the inside.
So anyway, I'm like laying on my side on our hotel bed in Rome, and they're all off going doing this.
At 18, and you can't go with, and you can't tell them
Yeah,
why.
I couldn't walk. I really couldn't walk.
But were you really saying I burnt my asshole?
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what happened, like, and I didn't really want to admit that I did it.
So what were you saying? How were you lying?
I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't want you to look at it, but
I don't want you to look at it. You.
trust me, it hurts. So anyway, like that night, my dad, being the father that he was, he went out to all the pharmacias in like Rome, and he was like, he didn't speak any Spanish, any Italian, so he's like, El preparationo hecho.
He thought you had He thought you had hemorrhoids.
I guess so. But he had to go to all these pharmacies and be like, preparationo hecho, like Italian.
Your poor father.
Sure enough,
He's on his last leg.
Les can barely walk the
And he's got his
the
18-year-old son's
Yeah.
asshole is hurting.
Yeah, I was always kind of a disappointment.
Do you think at any point he thought my asshole son's asshole hurts?
No, yeah, but it was. It took like 2 days out of the trip, but it was worth it. I got to see some.
2 days out of the
I got
trip.
to watch some Italian TV, which is a lot of tips.
So they left you there in the room?
Yeah, they were like, all right, we'll bring you back a souvenir for your rotten asshole. Like, maybe we'll bring back, something. But yeah, it just reminded me of this story. I thought it was
When
really
you two
funny.
told each other the story, when you saw him, was it like the greatest thing you'd ever heard?
No,
You telling-
look, when you have brothers, I'm sure you and your sister have some stories.
Oh, there's vacation stories.
Yeah.
We actually don't go on family vacations anymore. We haven't been on a family vacation where the entire crew's together in over a decade.
Wow.
Yeah, those days we were always fine on our own. We're actually trying now that we're all a little older, a little
Yeah.
more mature. We're gonna try to do a family vacation,
With your
probably to
respective-
Disney with our respective wives or girlfriends, or husbands. We're gonna actually try to all go to Disney World together
Nice.
in Orlando.
What, for like a night? Oh, in Florida.
Yeah, we're all gonna go meet out there and do a whole few days. We'll see what happens.
Good for you.
We'll see.
Lucky man.
Hopefully, we won't have any shit stories or burnt asshole stories. But
Well, we all got them. We all got them.
didn't you? We'll end on this one. But didn't you once tell me a story where you peed on one of your brothers?
Yeah.
And you let him think that it was.
I might have already told this. I hope not. Yeah, I was the youngest kid, and I was kind of fat, roly poly. I couldn't fight back.
Tell
very
it
well.
quick, just in case we told before.
All right, so my brother Brian, who I love dearly, who was just here, has a beautiful son, beautiful wife. He had beaten me up that night prior, and I was about 12, 13 years old, and we all slept in the same room out in Southampton. My aunt had a house out there, and so he beat me up or just tortured me, and I was festering there, really pissed, trying to get back at him. So he's sleeping, we're all in the same room, and I get up really quietly, and I kind of peed on him a little bit, and he woke up. He woke up the next morning, soaking wet, and and my dad again, he was like, "What are you? You're 15 years old. Why are you doing this?" And he had to sit there with a hairdryer and dry my piss from his sheets. And I didn't tell him until the night before he got married.
So he held on to that story where
8 years old.
he thought he peed his pants until he got married. Yeah. Oh, that's a gem.
Yeah, that's what brothers do.
I never had a brother, so I didn't get to pee on anybody.
Pieces of shit.
Though I do remember I slept over at a buddy's house once, and he had this really cute little brother. And all of a sudden, at 6 a.m, the little brother comes into the room with an empty bucket of Legos, looks at us, giggles, and puts the bucket down.
Aw, that's adorable.
And he leaves the room. And then I go, Aaron, your brother just put an empty bucket of Legos in the room and it's 6 a.m. What the hell just happened? He walks over, looks at the bucket. His brother peed in the bucket and put it in the room. He then walks the bucket over to his brother's room, who's now back in bed. He takes the bucket and without any hesitation just throws the bucket at his brother.
Oh, God.
The piss goes everywhere, all over the brother. He's now covered in his own piss. And my buddy Aaron goes right back to bed. It was the funniest thing I'd ever seen. I always regretted not having brothers for that reason. I thought, how funny would that be if we got into some shit like that?
Piss and shit stories, man. Boys have them, and they're hysterical.
I don't have those.
Dump chats are the best. Dump stories, everyone has had a bad
Poop
dump
talk is
story.
wonderful.
Yeah, but we'll save that maybe for another time.
All right. Thanks for listening to Bad Takeout. We hope you enjoyed the show.
And just for your safety, check the temperature of those bidets.
Yeah, never just.
You don't want to ruin a Venetian getaway because you're curious and your asshole gets puckered.
Good night, everybody. www.badtakeout.com.